Henry Olusegun Adeola Samuel, known by the mononym Seal, is an English soul and R&B singer-songwriter. He has sold more than 30 million albums worldwide and is known for his numerous international hits, including Kiss from a Rose, which appeared on the soundtrack to the 1995 film Batman Forever. He was a coach on The Voice Australia in 2012 and 2013. Seal has won numerous music awards throughout his career, including 3 Brit Awards, a Euro-winning Best British Male in 1992, 4 Grammy Awards, and an MTV Video Music Award. As a songwriter, he received the Ivor Novello Award, for Best Song Musically and Lyrically, in consecutive years for Killer and Crazy. Early life: Seal was born Olusegun Adeola Samuel on February 19, 1963 in Paddington, London, England, to a Nigerian mother, Adebisi Ogunji, and a Brazilian father, Francis Samuel. Seal's Christian and middle names are in the Yoruba language. Olusegun means God is victorious, Olumide means my Lord has arrived, and Adeola means either rich crown, or a crown of wealth. He was raised in the city of Westminster in inner London by his foster family. He received a 2-year diploma, or associate's degree, in architecture and worked in various jobs in the London area. Although there have long been rumours as to the cause of the scars on his face, they are in fact the result of a type of lupus called discoid lupus erythematosus, a condition that specifically affects the skin above the neck. Music career: early career: in the 1980s Seal spent a short time singing in local clubs and bars. In 1987 he joined Push, a British funk band, and toured with them in Japan. In Thailand he joined a blues band for a while before separating from the group and journeying throughout India on his own. He returned to England, sleeping on the couch of friend Julian Bunster, then a model. He sometimes asked him, "Do I sing well?" to which he often received the response that he sang better than most current artists. His break came when he met the producer Adamski. He was given the lyrics of the song Killer, which was a huge hit in 1990. Seal first came to public attention as vocalist on the Adamski single Killer in 1990. The single eventually reached #1 in the UK. Seal subsequently signed to ZTT Records and released his self-titled Da Copyright But album in 1991. 2 versions of the album are known to be in circulation, the original pre-mix version and a second, more common version with an updated mix. This is attributed to the demand for a produced single rushing the final album edit and, as Seal puts it, his and producer Horn's inability to let go. Seal was positively received by critics. The singles Crazy, Future Love Paradise, and his own rendition of Killer performed well on the charts. In particular, Crazy became an international hit in 1991, reaching #2 in the UK singles chart and #7 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US. Seal stole the show at the 1992 Brit Awards held at the Hammersmith Odeon, London, with the first hat-trick of wins in the history of the event. He won in 3 categories: Best British Male, Best British Video and Best British Album. In April 1992 Seal performed with the surviving members of the rock band Queen at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert held at Wembley Stadium. Seal performed on his own singing the 1986 hit, Who Wants to Live Forever, and joined the rest of the acts for the all-star finale singing We Are the Champions. In 1992 Seal appeared on the Red Hot Organization's compilation CD Red Hot Plus Dance, contributing an exclusive track Crazy. The album, featuring George Michael and Madonna among others, raised money and awareness in support of the AIDS epidemic by donating all proceeds to AIDS charities. Seal 2. After regrouping with Trevor Horn, Seal's second album, also self-titled, was released in 1994. A success, the album featured the singles Prayer for the Dying and Newborn Friend, later receiving a Grammy nomination for Album of the Year. Prayer for the Dying became a minor pop hit in the US, peaking at #21 on the Billboard charts. A third single, Kiss from a Rose, performed modestly when released but was later featured to much wider popularity when it was remixed for the soundtrack to Batman Forever. Kiss from a Rose won a Grammy Award for Record of the Year and Grammy Award for Song of the Year in 1996, becoming Seal's best-performing single on the US market and hit number 4 in the UK. Human Being. In 1998 Seal released Human Being. The album was the product of a turbulent time in his life, including a split and later reconciliation with producer Horn as well as Seal's parting with ZTT Records and his signing with Warner Brothers. Records in 1997. The record was panned upon its release. It received gold record certification by the RIAA just 2 months after its release date. The album provided 3 singles, Human Beings, Latest Craze, and Lost My Faith. Togetherland. In 2001 fans awaited the arrival of a new album, announced as Togetherland. After a protracted post-production period the album was cancelled. The official word was that Seal simply did not think it made the grade, although this conflicts with other reports that said the album was turned down by the label because producers felt the album would not be commercially successful. Even so, 1 single was released from the album. This Could Be Heaven was released in the US and featured on the Family Man soundtrack. Since December 2006, Seal has indicated that he has plans to excerpt cuts from Togetherland and make them available for streaming download. Meanwhile, Seal co-wrote and provided vocals for the hit single My Vision from Jakarta in 2002. He also recorded a successful duet with French icon Mélanie Farmer called Les Mots during that same period. Seal 4. In 2003 Seal released his 4th album, which was again self-titled, except for Australia, where it was released under the title Seal 4. Although it never achieved the sales figures of either of his first 2 albums, this release brought him back into the public eye in the United States and continental Europe. Singles from the album included Waiting for You, Get It Together, and Love's Divine. This last was released in 2004 and was a big hit in several European countries. Greatest Hits Album, Best 1991 to 2004. In 2004 a Greatest Hits album entitled Seal, Best 1991 2004 was released, including a cover of the Bacharach/David classic Walk On By, and a cover of Echo and the Bunnymen's song Lips Like Sugar. An edition of the album was available which included an extra CD with acoustic versions of some of Seal's hits. Live in Paris. Also in 2004, Seal performed shows at the Olympia Theatre in Paris, France. The 6 July 2004 show was recorded and released about 1 year after as a CD-DVD package, simply titled Live in Paris. One Night to Remember. In June 2005 Seal recorded a special concert which was subsequently released in 2006, entitled One Night to Remember, as CD-DVD combination. The DVD includes a special The Making of documentary in addition to the live performance. Recorded in a historic steel mill, the Ortskesselhaus, in Darwin-Quartersdorf, Germany. This performance includes a special version of Brahms' Lullaby which Seal sings in German and then in English for the exclusive audience. Unlike earlier recordings in which Seal is accompanied by his band, a full orchestra and choir of 52 musicians accompanies the singer. System was released in the UK on November 12, 2007 and in the US on November 13, 2007. Seal describes the album as more dance-oriented, apparently a return to the roots of his first album. On the track titled Wedding Day, Seal sings a duet with his wife, model Heidi Klum. The album's first single, Amazing, was released on September 25, 2007, and was nominated for the Best Male Pop Vocal Performance Grammy at the 2007 50th Annual Grammy Awards. Seal performed Amazing, and the Beatles' Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds at the 2007 Royal Variety Performance. Seal also performed Amazing at the 2007 Victoria's Secret fashion show in December, as well as the duet Wedding Day with his wife. Other performers at the 2007 Victoria's Secret fashion show include the Spice Girls and will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas. He appeared on the American Idol Season 7 finale, singing with third-place contestants Yesha Mercado. Soul. Seal's 6th studio album Soul was released on November 11, 2008, in the United States and November 3, 2008, internationally, and contains 11 soul classics produced by David Foster. The video for the first single, A cover of Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come is up on his official YouTube page. As well, he will be mentoring the top 9 on Deutschland sucht den Superstar and performing one of his songs from the album. Seal coached the participants of Germany's TV show Deutschland sucht den Superstar in February-March 2009. Hits. On December 4, 2009, Hits, a compilation album was released. It contains 2 new tracks, I'm Your Man, and Thank You. Commitment and Soul 2. Seal's 7th studio album, Commitment, was released on September 20, 2010 internationally and September 28, 2010 in the US. The first single, Secret, was released August 10, 2010 on iTunes US and in the UK on September 13, 2010. This album was said to be inspired by his wife, Heidi. On November 7, 2011, Seal released his second cover album of classic soul songs, Soul 2, through Reprise Records. Seal was reportedly working with Horn again, producing forthcoming new album Let Yourself. An August 2013 newspaper report described Horn as currently working on the album. A February 2014 interview then had Horn saying, I'm working with him at the moment. We just started, but we've got a couple of absolutely beautiful tracks. Seal re-signed to Perfect Songs and had a 2-week writing period in Horn's Los Angeles, California studio booked for October 2012. Stuart Copeland said that month on his Twitter feed that Horn and Grammy are working with Seal on a project and had a picture of them together, with some implication that he was involved too. In April 2013, Seal said on Twitter that the new album will be released in about June, and that tracks include Let Yourself, Do You Ever, and Laying with an Angel. Other projects, Jeff Beck and Seal performed a cover of Manic Depression for the 1993 album Stone Free, a tribute to Jimi Hendrix. Seal also contributed vocals to a cover of John Lennon's Imagine for the 2010 Herbie Hancock album, The Imagine Project, along with P. N.K., India Arie, Jeff Beck, Kono Na 1, Umos Angra Copyright and others. In 2012, Seal was one of the 4 vocal coaches in the first season of the Australian version of the reality singing competition The Voice. He was the coach of the series winner Karise Eden. Seal returned to The Voice Season 2, which debuted on April 7, 2013, where he became a winning coach once again, coaching eventual winner Harrison Craig. He did not return for the 3rd season in 2014, with the 9 network stating that Seal will take a break from the 3rd season of The Voice to focus on music and material for a new album. The Kadyrov controversy. In October 2011, Seal came under criticism from human rights groups for appearing at an event in Grozny, Chechnya, that turned into a birthday celebration for Ramzan Kadyrov, the president of Chechnya. Kadyrov and the militia that he controls have been accused of torture, disappearances and extrajudicial killings of political opponents and human rights workers in Chechnya by Human Rights Watch and other human rights organizations. Also appearing at the event were the actress Hilary Swank, actor Jean-Claude Van Damme and violinist Vanessa Mae. The New York-based Human Rights Foundation claims that it sent letters to invitees in advance of the event noting Kadyrov's record and asking them to decline the invitations. Human Rights Watch sent an inquiry to Seal regarding his performance at the event and released a statement about the incident which said, Ramzan Kadyrov is linked to a litany of horrific human rights abuses. It's inappropriate for stars to get paid to party with him. It bolsters his image and legitimizes a brutal leader and his regime. And getting paid to be part of such a lavish show in Chechnya trivializes the suffering of countless victims of human rights abuses there. Seal refused to apologize for appearing at the event, sending a message from his Twitter account telling people to leave me out of your politics. Seal was reported to have made $500,000 for singing at the party. Personal life, relationships and family. Seal first began dating German model Heidi Klum in February 2004, shortly after she announced her pregnancy and end of relationship with then-director of the Italian Renault Formula One team, Flavio Briatore. Seal proposed to Klum on December 23, 2004 in a quinzhee he had built on a glacier in Whistler, British Columbia. On May 10, 2005, the couple married on a beach in Mexico near Seal's home on Costa Cares. Every year during their marriage, Seal and Clem renewed their vows on their anniversary with close friends and family. About these renewals, Seal said in 2010, "Each year, Heidi and I get remarried. It's a great party, but for about an hour, we go off on our own down to a private beach. We sit there with the kids and read vows to each other as the sun sets. It's a very special moment to us." In November 2009, Clem officially adopted Seal's surname and became legally known as Heidi Samuel. Clem gave birth to Briator's daughter, Helene Lenny Boishoven Clem, on May 5, 2004 in New York City with Seal at her side. According to Clem, Briator is not involved in Lenny's life, and Clem has stated emphatically that Seal is Lenny's father. Seal is her only father figure, and he has praised Briator for keeping his distance and not disrupting Lenny's life. In late 2009, Seal officially adopted Lenny, and her last name was changed to Samuel. The couple have 3 other children: sons Henry Garwan Quarter and Thea Adeola Samuel, Joan Riley Fyodor Taiwo Samuel, and daughter Lola Samuel. On January 22, 2012, Seal and Clem announced that they were separating after nearly 7 years of marriage. In the media, on June 11, 2009, Seal, on tour with his new album Soul, revealed, "It is nice to be in newspapers and magazines for something other than my marriage." He said his marriage to Clem may take away the attention, but does not detract from what he loves doing, making music. In February 2011, Clem praised Seal for his good parenting skills. "When I first met Seal, he had a kindness and compassion that was so sincere I knew he'd be a good father. But it wasn't until Lenny was born and we had our 3 other children that I grasped what a great dad he is. He has infinite amounts of love and patience for our kids. He puts me and the children first." Clem also remarked how lucky she was to have a husband like Seal. On March 10, 2012, Seal shared the stage with Kanye West, Soul Rebels brass band, and Snoop Dogg at Brad Pitt unregistered trademark S Night to Make It Right Foundation New Orleans after party, hosted by comedian Aziz Ansari. The charity event, hosted by Ellen DeGeneres, raised money to build homes for victims of Hurricane Katrina. Other work: Seal and his then-wife Heidi Klum announced in June 2010 that they would be making a reality series on Lifetime titled Love's Divine. Seal was also a judge for the 10th Annual Independent Music Awards to support independent artists' careers. Discography. Studio albums: Seal, Seal 2, Human Being, Seal 4, System, Soul, Commitment, Soul 2, See Also, Brazilians in the United Kingdom, List of artists who reached #1 in the United States, List of artists who reached #1 on the US dance chart, List of #1 dance hits, List of #1 hits, References, Footnotes. General sources: Entertainment Weekly, June 3, 1994. Guitar Player, October 1994. The Independent, May 12, 1994. Metro Times, June 22, 1994. Q, July 1994. Rolling Stone, November 28, 1991. August 25, 1994. External links: Official website, Seal discography at Music Brains, Seal at the Internet Movie Database, Seal's a meme page featuring his entire catalog, Enamoramento.net. A Seal interview, A Conjurer of New Age Vagaries and Lush Grooves. Reynolds, Simon. August 14, 1994. The New York Times, page 26.